Is this project considered an album, mixtape, or EP?
I would call it an album.
And why go that route?
For one, you know, I put all the money behind it. Like the beats, they're not like leased beats. You know, I own all the beats except for maybe 2 or 3. You know, I put a lot of money behind the features and a lot of money behind my project. And I think a mixtape is more when you just put together a body of work and just throw it on the internet. I don't know, I can't really dissect the difference, but I would just say, you know, the money that I put into it and the fact that I own my rights to everything that I put up, like even on the streaming sites, you're not gonna find it on any mixtape apps like Spinrilla or that Piff. You will find it on Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, stuff like that. So I think that would be considered an album.
And why not go the EP route? Something shorter.
Something shorter because it's so much music that I got in my archive that I couldn't decide in a small, you know, I couldn't come up with a short list of songs to put out. So I felt like I had to at least, you know, my music is also diverse. So I felt like I wanted to put out a diverse body of music and not just limit the people that are listening to 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 songs.
Explain the meaning behind the title for this project.
The title is Southside Superstar. I'm coming from Southside, Raleigh, North Carolina, and you know, the Southside Superstar name, somebody gave it to me when I was younger. You know, I was always young, like having money and like flashy, having jewelry and just like being in the clubs and, you know, just people knowing my name from different things that I was doing in the city while I was young. So when I actually decided to drop a solo project, I decided to name it Southside Superstar because people was already familiar with me, with that being my name or my nickname.
Type of things you were doing in the city back then?
You know, I was just young, turned up. You know, I was getting money at a young age, and you know, I had a lot of nice cars at a young age, a lot of nice jewelry at a young age, and you know, I was just in and out of trouble. I had a lot of things going, and I think the person that gave me that name, it came from just people, everybody knowing me. You know, where I come from, Raleigh is a small town, and the South Side is a small side of that, not a small town, a small city. And the South Side of Raleigh is a small portion of that city, so everybody know my name, everybody know me, like, so I think that's where that came from.
Street activity?
If you want to say that, you can, yeah.
Still in street activity today?
Nah, I'm a rapper now.
Born in Chicago?
Yeah, born in Chicago.
What age did you move to Raleigh?
Grade school, so I would say like 6. I think like 6.
Why the move?
My parents, you know, and just their life, I guess, you know, they was trying to get away from whatever was going on out there. You know, they didn't really give me the real reason. We just left.
The artwork. Can you explain the concept behind this artwork?
Yeah, so it's Southside Superstar, and the concept behind the artwork, it was a picture taken from a video shoot, and the video was the artwork was just so hard. It was like the ski mask with the rollie and the yellow tape, and it kind of was just, it draws you in, like the orange ski mask with the gold teeth and the rollie out with the yellow tape around it is real interesting, and the story behind it is also interesting. So I felt like it was the perfect cover. And then the background is the background of the city, is a background like the skyline of Raleigh. So I felt like it was perfect to use for the mixtape.
This is something you come up with, or graphic designer?
Graphic designer, but I fed him some ideas and he came back to me with something that I really liked, so I ran with it.
I forgot to ask you this when we were talking about the title of the project.
Yeah.
You said somebody gave you this name.
Yeah.
Care to share who?
Yeah. My boy Brave, he ain't gonna let me forget it neither. He tell me all the time, like, don't forget that I'm the one that started calling you that first. He tell me all the time. So shout out to Bray.
And when it came to the choosing of the title, this is something that you chose. You chose to use that name for this title, or did somebody coin this idea for you?
Well, my first idea for my first, I'm gonna put it like this. The first name that I had in mind for my first project was gonna be Real Carolina. And I think Southside Superstar I decided for Southside Superstar more because that's how I've been feeling lately. So I felt like this is perfect for how I'm feeling. The music, it goes along with the title. I just felt like I just needed to run with that.
The release date, was there any significance behind the release date for this project?
I wouldn't say. No, I wouldn't say.
Were you happy with the date that was chosen?
Yeah, I felt like it was overdue. Like the mixtape was overdue.
For somebody watching this, hearing about this project for the first time, or maybe somebody watching this that's seen the artwork, know that it's out, but haven't had a chance to press play yet.
Yeah.
Can you describe the sound, overall speaking, one would hear once they do touch that play button?
An original Carolina sound. That's what I would say. You would hear an original Carolina sound.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for one, everything I try to keep right now, North Carolina is buzzing with a lot of big artists, so I try to put my project together as a Carolina project. So all of my features are Carolina features. All of the beats are by Carolina producers except for two. And, you know, I just try to stick with as Carolina as possible because that's the route that I want to take. You know, if I do sound, like if I was to be put in the category, that's what would be the category that I want to be put in. The same way that a lot of Atlanta artists, they come up with it, they follow up with the Atlanta sound that's already like relevant, or New York artists will follow up with a New York sound that's already relevant, the same way for LA. So I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing with the Carolina, but just like with my own original twist to it.
That's important to you.
Yeah, that's very important to me.
Why?
Because of what I'm trying to do in my career. Like, I don't want to be somebody that people say, oh, he sounds like this artist, or he sounds like that artist, or he reminds me of this. When you hear my music, I want you to be able to hear it again and know, oh, that's RTP Jug, that's Juggavelli. I heard that voice before. I know how he sounds, and get familiar with my sound. Than saying, oh, he's, you know, because a lot of artists that sound like other artists get swept under the rug because of that. So I don't want to get lost in that.
You mentioned there are two contributors to this project that aren't from Carolina. Mm-hmm. Was there a thought on cutting them out of this project because of that?
Nah, actually, no. I really like those songs and I want to work with him some more, actually.
And who were the two that weren't from Carolina?
It was one producer, it's Big Dad from Street Execs.
He's from Atlanta?
Yeah, I don't know if he's from Atlanta, but I met him in Atlanta at the Street Exec recording studio.
And Street Execs is Atlanta based?
Street Execs is Atlanta based, it's an Atlanta studio.
The lyrics for this project, did you write them? Did you freestyle punch in?
A little bit. Some songs I write, some songs I freestyle, depends on the night. It depends on the beat. Some beats I hear and I just instantly could go in the studio and freestyle. Some beats, they make me think and I want to sit down and come up with the perfect song for that beat. So it just depends on the song and the beat.
Rough estimate, are we talking like 50-50 for this particular project?
I would say like 60-40.
60 being?
Right, written. And 40 being punch in freestyle.
Did you have any help with the lyrics on this project?
Like, did somebody help me write my music?
Yes.
No.
When it comes to these lyrics for this project, how honest are they?
They're pretty honest. They're pretty honest.
Give me a percentage. Out of 100.
75-25.
And what's the 25?
The 25 might be a car that I'm rapping about that I don't own, but I probably rented it before, and I'm just rapping about the experience that I had in it.
There's 14 songs on this project.
Yeah.
Why that amount?
I wanted to make it 13, but it was hard to leave out. I felt like every song that I put on this project was important, and like I said, it was hard for me to even get it down to 14, so, you know, I felt like I just had, the songs that I put out needed to go out. I got so much more music that I want to put out that I don't want to hold on to it, and then it never goes out, so.
How many songs did you choose from originally before you cut it to 14?
I want to say like maybe like 90 songs maybe, give or take, maybe 90 to 100.
What's the process on narrowing from 90 to 14?
Well, being that Southside Superstar was my first solo project, I wanted to have a certain type of energy to it, so I wanted it to be like it turned up all the way from the top to the bottom. So I got songs where I'm like harmonizing, or you know, I'm singing on auto-tune, or it might be like a slower vibe, but I didn't want that for none of the songs on this project, so I wanted it to slap all the way through, so you can actually go and press play and not have to switch it. It's like the mood is consistent throughout the mixtape or throughout the album.
How long did that narrowing process take you?
A couple weeks.
Who put this track list together, and what was the process behind that as well?
I put the track list together, and the process was intro, of course. The next couple songs that I think followed up were like High Energy. Then there was a twerk song, a song to follow up for the females behind that, because I figured most of the twerk song audience would be female, so I put another female song behind it so they could hear their two little songs, and then it's just more energy all the way, and then the intro at the end.
An outro at the end.
Outro at the end, I'm sorry.
How long did that take, the track list process?
Well, the songs were already done, so it was just a matter of me putting the pieces together.
Yeah, how long did that take?
Well, I would say a couple weeks.
Took you longer to do the track list than the narrowing down of the songs?
What you mean? Like putting it in order?
Yes.
Oh, no, in order, the order probably took a couple days, like 2-3 days. It took me a couple weeks to pick the songs, and then to put it in that order, yeah, like a couple days.
Got you. I should have been a little bit more specific.
Yeah, that's right.
And was that, I know you explained, okay, high energy, then female, then high energy. Is there a strategy that you had with this, or?
I just want to, right now, you know, being a new artist, I just want to build my audience, and I don't want to miss people, like, how can I put it? I don't want it to go over nobody's head, so it's like, the twerk song is still high energy. It's a club song. The twerk song is featuring Renni Rucci. But, you know, I just wanted it to be like, to where, like, when you hear it, you, like, a lot of times when somebody puts out a body of work, the first thing that somebody does is pick what songs they like. So for me, I wanted it to be hard for whoever the listener is to pick a favorite song. I wanted them to like as many songs as they could. So I picked the songs that I felt like were the most relatable, or the most likable, or the most able to turn up to, you know what I'm saying?
You didn't premiere this project through any specific platform. You released it to all streaming platforms simultaneously.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like after the project finally released?
It felt like weight off my shoulders, you know, because it was a lot of pressure, for sure. But, you know, I got so much more music that I'm just excited to actually have this out, and I can actually start working on my next project.
This being your first solo project?
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, of course.
What was nerve-wracking about it to you? What was at the top of that list?
Just rapping about real life situations. I'm not used to being in front of the camera like that, and I'm not used to putting myself on the spot. I like, you know, I live my life a certain way, so putting myself on the spot is a little different for me, and I gotta get used to that. And rapping about things that I went through, it gets personal. So some of the songs I'm actually talking about personal topics, and it was a little, at first I was nervous about putting it out, but I just felt like it just needed to go out.
When you say this is your first solo project, have you been part of a group or a duo before in the past?
Nah, basically, I got some friends that I rap with, and their name is 600. So we had dropped a mixtape together called Running Through Paper 600, and it was like the first 11 or 12 songs that we ever made. We put it together and just threw a project out there, and we actually got another project coming too. So it ain't like that was the only time that I did it. We got another one coming behind it, but we just make a lot of music together, and they basically RTP, you know, Running Through Paper is the name of the label. They RTP too, so.
What'd you do the first minute this project released? Take us back through that moment. First minute it publicly is out there. People can go and stream it. What'd you do?
I don't even remember.
Sometimes people celebrate.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are very strategic and they're working social media. They're networking while this is going on. They're promoting while this is going on.
I was definitely working social media, and like, you know, I would say celebrating too, but I was working social media and just, you know, like I said, it was just a big weight off of my shoulder. I was happy to just finally have it out where people could listen to it and get the feedback.
After the project released, was there any remorse in the songs chosen or the order of the track list?
Nah.
Why not? Some people do. Some people, they wish they would have moved a song higher in the list, lower in the list, took a song off, added a song.
Well, one song, like I said, the song for the females, but I don't think I did nothing wrong with it. But like I said, that might be the only song that slows down the tempo, but I felt like it was needed. So, and it's still energy to it, but that might be the, you know, the slower song out of the project.
From start to finish, how much time did this project take to put together?
Well,
Recording to releasing it.
I will put it like this. The oldest song up there will probably be 1.5 years, and the most recent song will probably be a month, being that the project been out for like a week or two. So I would say maybe like 1.5 years worth of time put into it.
Financially, how much does a project like this cost to create?
Man, at least like 15, 20.
Did you have a budget before you started the project?
Nah, no budget.
Looking back at how everything played out, was that amount of money you spent on it worth it?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely, because like I said, you know, I own my rights to my music. I ain't got no label or no deal behind me, so all the money that I'm putting in, I'm expecting to receive back plus, you know, profit. So yeah, it was definitely money well spent.
There are 3 songs, I believe you said, that something is different about those 3 songs. Are they leased exactly or no?
What you mean?
In the beginning of this interview, I think you said you own all the rights to everything except for like 3 songs.
Yeah, because so some, like, I buy my beats, you know, I buy them out, you know, so, to where I own it. The only ones where the producers I don't like the producer from Street is that he made the beat, we made the song, we split it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them beats I bought out. I don't lease beats from nobody. Like if somebody want to give me a beat and we make the song together and we in on it, then that's lit. But if I'm gonna come out my pocket, I'm not gonna lease it.
Is this your best work so far musically?
Definitely.
What's your favorite song on the project?
Man.
Your personal favorite.
My personal favorite would have to be, I can't say one, it would be 2.
Okay, give it to me.
It would be number 2 and number 3. So the number 2 is Southside Anthem, and number 3 is called Fuck That.
What are those songs about? Give me the story.
Southside Anthem is basically me naming the streets that I'm from the side of town that I'm from. And the reason why it's one of my favorites is because, like, it just reminds me of what I come from and how far I went. And, you know, the people that's there, they, you know, where we from, like the south side of Raleigh, you don't really see nobody make it from there. You don't see, I don't think we ever seen a big artist from the south side of Raleigh, maybe P.D. Pablo or something, but we ain't seen no big rap artists come from my city, or not even nobody big, nothing. Like, we don't got no, probably we got John Wall, and that might be it. You know what I'm saying? From Raleigh, from South Raleigh, niggas don't make it out of there. Like, so I feel like that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be that person. I'm trying to, you know, build a foundation for the city. Like, I want to build a label, big, you know, I want Running Through Paper to be a label, a big label in Raleigh, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to open up doors, and I feel like with, like, Southside Anthem, it's just, like I said, it just reminds me of where I'm from and what I'm doing and where I'm headed.
And the other song?
The other song is called Fuck That. And for one, everybody love that song. And for two, like, I was telling a story, like, I was telling a real story. And, you know, people that know me, they know, like, you know, people that know me, they feel it. So.
When it comes to these features and these producers for this project, are these all people that you worked with for the very first time, or any of them repeats?
Well, the producer, the main producer on the project is Jay Manifest from Legion of Music. And right now, like, in Raleigh, that's basically where I record at. He's like he's my engineer, basically, you know, so a lot of the music me and him made together. Well, we basically, yeah, I think we made every song together in there, so, you know, shout out Legion of Music. And as far as the features, yeah, Renni, the feature with Renni was my first time working with her, and the feature with Toosii, that was my only time working with Toosii.
Okay, so let's break the features down. How'd you link up with Renni?
I think Renni had a show or a walkthrough or something in a small town in North Carolina, and she was coming to Raleigh to do a feature for somebody. I already had the twerk song recorded, and I wanted a female artist on the twerk song. And my boy Manny, he had called me. Manny is Jay Manifest from Legion of Music. Manny had called me. He was like, yo, Renni up here about to do a feature. What you want to do? You want to get her on the twerk song? Because me and him had been talking about getting a female artist. And I was like, yeah, you know what I got to do? He like, pull up. It's like 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I get out of bed, put my clothes on, and speed to the studio to get the feature. And then it was good energy. The song came out crazy. So, you know, shout out Renni. It was love, too. You know, she was rocking with me. We made a good song. We shot the video. The video is hard. So, you know, I think that was well worth it, and it was lit. You know what I'm saying?
What about Toosii?
Toosii, he had came through and did a verse, and, you know, Toosii, that shit was hard too. You know, the song that I got with Toosii was special. Like, how can I explain this?
Take your time.
So, I was, in my verse, I was rapping about my boy Gucci. I had said a line, and I was like, free my nigga Gucci, can't believe this much time went by. And Gucci literally, like, he got killed like a month ago. He was out on parole for maybe like 3 months. He ain't even, you know, maybe like 3 months out, like 90 days or something. He ended up getting killed. So, you know, that song is special to me because I was rapping about him in that song. So, you know, every time I hear that song, I just get goosebumps. I be like, damn, this song with me and Toosii really crazy. I was sleeping on it a little bit at first, but I feel like it could really go somewhere, you know what I'm saying?
But when it came to Toosii and you guys linking up, this is something you actually request him to come to your studio, and this is something you set up.
But Toosii blowing up right now. He doing this thing. He like the next upcoming artist at South Coast music group at SCMG where the Baby and Stunner and them are at. Toosii is over there too. And like I said, you know, that's really like a North Carolina, I want to say it's a North and South Carolina type of label, but it's a lot of North Carolina artists up there. So like I told you, the main thing with me was I wanted to stick to North Carolina sound. I wanted to stick to Carolina. I think Renni is South Carolina, but I wanted to stick to the Carolina, you know, artists. And, you know, like, I appreciate Toosii for pulling up. That's, you know, love.
And it's something you reach out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have interviewed Toosii.
Yeah.
I've also interviewed Renni Rucci, if anybody wants to see those interviews as well.
Yeah. Shout out Toosii and Renni, man.
Search for that in this
real
YouTube.
Carolina shit going on.
Are there any interesting, I mean, I've asked you a lot of questions. Are there any interesting facts you didn't mention that one would find interesting about this project? Something we didn't speak of? Or maybe we spoke about everything, I don't know. But if there's any interesting facts, this is the part where we talk about. Is there any interesting facts in regards to this project other than what we've already mentioned?
I mean, it's a lot. You know, this project is real. It's real personal for me. Like, you know, I've been through a lot of things in my life, so I'm talking about a lot of things that I've been through. Is somewhat like a, I don't want to say a diary, but you know, it's like reading through. It's like you scrolling through pages of my life when you listen to this album. You know what I'm saying? So I think for somebody that, you know, that does want to hear something, you know, some people want to hear specific things. Some people like to hear fun music or turned up music, but some people like to hear the authentic sound and be able to relate. And I feel like this album is something that a lot of people could relate to, that's from the street, that been through the same shit that I've been through and you know, overcame the same obstacles that I overcame, and just, you know, understand what the objective is, trying to make it out the hood and get somewhere in life. So I think with this album, you know, like a lot of people be telling me like, yo, I be riding to this shit, or like my people tell me, yo, I be working out in the gym to this shit be having me turned up. I be, you know, nigga tell me they be hustling to that shit or whatever. It's like, it's motivating because the story that I'm speaking about is authentic. You can hear it, you can feel it, and I think, you know, in due time, people are gonna catch on to it, for the people that haven't yet.
Anybody you want to shout out that you didn't mention in this interview in regards to the project? You've mentioned several names,
yeah.
So you don't have to mention them again, but is there anybody you want to mention that you didn't mention in regards to this project?
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out Sap 600. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Sap got a lot going on, and just the whole 600 movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a lot of big things going on. We got an RTP 602 tape coming out. You know what I'm saying? And what's another? Shout out Big K. Big K was another producer that I had worked with, and he's from the same side of town that I'm from. So shout out Big K. He did the number 3, the Fuck That, that I was just talking about. That was one of my favorite tracks. So shout out Big K. And who else? I mean, that's it. Really, like you said, those might be the only people that I didn't talk about.
I forgot to ask you, the Renni Rucci feature, the Toosii feature, those were paid features?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to come out of pocket for those.
You said Renni was worth it.
Definitely.
What about the Toosii feature?
Toosii feature was definitely worth it. Like, me and Toosii got a hit. I just gotta, you know, I gotta actually push it. And I think I started pushing the Renni one first. Me and her got a video, and I'm trying to see what me and Toosii could do with a video and try to get that going too. So I think that's gonna be one of the biggest songs on the album. You know what I'm saying?